We're Gina and Lindsay.
And this is First Wife Life.
We're on like a big high about talking about dating because
you just downloaded Hinge
profile like
today.
20 minutes ago.
So we can't stop
Lindsay
giggling.
did a couple of days ago. So we're like uber excited.
Yeah. Because today's episode's about dating.
Yeah.
And we're just in the
we're
vibe
in a
of
new
it.
stage of dating too. Mm-hmm. I am. You graduated a little while ago, but yeah, you're in stage 4. I'm in stage 3, I feel like.
Yeah. And what we want to talk about is like every stage of dating is different. Like when, let's start with phase 1 of what we were both like.
You file and you're like, I need some dick. And you're like, just very open.
You just want
experiences. I was like, I want to collect experiences.
Because we were with our high school sweetheart. So I hadn't been with anyone since I was with my ex.
I know. And I didn't think I was capable. Like, truly. I was like, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
But I did,
your
and
body's it's so foreign to your body to use with someone else. But what I will say about dating, like the mindset you have about just like being flirty and fun when you're dating right after leaving your marriage, that version of you is like not going to be the person that like levels out because you're just really itching to be wild and free during that time.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it dating. I still don't feel ready to date. Like when I think of dating, I'm thinking like boyfriend, girlfriend, like relationship things. And I still don't.
I don't think you're emotionally available yet for dating.
No, I'm not.
You have trust issues to the max because of your situation.
Yeah. But so I feel like in the beginning, I was like, I just want to like connect with another man and just be in the presence of like another man and touch. Oh my God, I love to be touched.
Yeah.
I realized.
Mine, I got in a situationship with a guy in an open marriage when I first left my ex. And it was truly the loop jump I needed to never go back. So I'm super grateful for the situation because I had told my ex I was leaving. I was like, I've never told you, to move on, find someone else, or me do my own thing. Like in the whole 15 years we've been together. And, my ex was like, well, someone gave me, their number. Should I call them? Like, please call them.
I'll set the date up for you. You just show up.
Yeah. And I was just like, my heart isn't yours anymore. This isn't going anywhere. Like, I just want to be free. And so that's what I did. I went out to the bars, and I had my friend that was with me. I'm like, you need to teach me how to flirt. Like, I don't even know how to be energetically open to another person. Like, I'm so faithful. I'm so like, no guy has felt that they even had a chance with me, like kind of energetically faithful. So it was like shedding a whole version of myself to be able to like be open to flirting. And we met this like group of guys at a bar. One of them was in an open marriage and I like had never met someone in an open marriage. And it was like, it kind of felt like a safe situation to me though, because it didn't feel like I was going to start a relationship with him because he was married. So it was kind of like this, okay, well that kind of sounds alluring.
I'm over here like, you're going to have 2 problems. He's going to turn out to be a problem and so is she, but they didn't. It worked out.
Yeah. It got like a little bit too intense where it had to end, but it was like a 3-month situationship that was the jumping point I needed. Mm-hmm. And it's like a for the plot kind of story in my dating history at this point, and no regrets besides my ex telling my kids about it. But
why?
Yeah.
Mom's dating, like mom filed for divorce, sweetheart.
Yeah. So that was like my start to the dating world, and then I went on.
That's a big start. That's like restarting the motor on a 1932 Rolls Royce. Like, how did that thing start?
I'm definitely a Rolls Royce. You're right.
Yeah, you are. Most expensive car ever sold in history. I looked it up for my kids the other day. $30 million.
Holy shit.
You are a Rolls Royce.
And then I did like a month of healing. And then I was like, I'm going to go in the apps. I've missed that whole chapter of being on apps, and found this guy that it was a total love bombing situation, like off to the races, like super hot and heavy 3-month situationship again, that ended up with him being on the Facebook group, like, Are We Dating the Same Guy, Chicago? That my girlfriend found him on because someone posted his profile, like, any tea on this guy. And it was so traumatizing because I was like, he knew my whole story. He knew I needed to trust a man. And like, I gave him a lot of outs with like how intense my situation was. It was like during my messy divorce, and he didn't take the outs, and instead was just like, you know, you're perfect, but your situation's too much. And I'm like, that's why I literally told you, if this is too much, just let me know. But he just like wanted his cake and eat it too. And so that was my like first kind of like, it's not even a real relationship, but
situationship.
Yeah, someone that wasn't married after I got
there
divorced.
You go.
Yeah. And I also don't recommend an open marriage. I don't think it's definitely not for me. I think like the partnership is such a sacred thing that it's not something I would want to share or open my life up to. That's just personal preference.
Yeah, I could never let someone in.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was my kind of first situationship. And second, what was it? You had
in the beginning. So after I filed, like 2 weeks after I filed, and went out with my girlfriend. We spent the whole weekend in the city. We got a hotel, and like we were just doing girl things. She had gone through a recent breakup. And so we were just like, let's have fun and be whatever. But I still felt so just like, no, I mean, like closed in my energy and not whatever. But we met these guys, super fun. I ended up going home with one of them, but I was very clear. Like, I was like, I don't want to like have sex, whatever. Like, I didn't want to get back home. I didn't know. I've never like dated or been single. So I was so nervous. To me, going home with someone means like you owe them a favor when you get back there. Oh, so I was like, I don't want to mislead anybody. So I had it to home like 3 times. Like, I don't want to like upset you when we get home, but I know. And he was like, no, I just want to like talk and get to know you more and whatever. Like, okay, well, it's 2 a.m. I don't know what else we're going to talk about. But anyways, that was really nice. I slept over. Nothing happened. Little makeout sesh or whatever. Went to sleep. So then the next day I was telling another friend about it. And I was like, there was no part of me, like there was chemistry, but I was so like, I couldn't, like, I don't know how I would be sexual with another person. Like, I just don't think I could do it. And she was like, I think you're wearing was my husband still at the time, like a coat. Like, you still feel like you owe him a loyalty and you can't be with somebody else. And I think she was right. And I felt that for a little bit. So weeks later, another friend of mine was like, you should get on this website. Okay, this is not even an app. It's a website, okay? And it's not traditional. And so I did. I made a profile and I met 3 fine gentlemen. Not the same day. Like, I was only on this site for like a week, okay? But I met these 3 people, and this was the jump I needed. One of them, like, we had been chatting a few days, and then I think he texted me like on a Tuesday morning. I was like, hey, want to meet at the Drake? And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't think this was happening, but it is. And the plan was just to like have champagne, get to know each other, whatever. And then once I got there, I was like, are we going to do this thing or not? And he was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think you'd want to have sex on like the first. Yeah, he's like, I didn't think you'd want to have sex like the first time we met up. And I was like, I'm just ready to get this over with. So do you want to be the guy or not? And he was like, please, yes. So yeah, I think I needed that. Like you said, that was like the jump you needed. I needed something extreme as like meeting up with a stranger at a hotel for sex. Honestly, it sounds crazy now, but yeah. I was just so guarded and like, I don't know. I feel like everybody thinks I'm so like out there and crazy or whatever. And I'm definitely like loud and extroverted and I enjoy humor and everything. But when it comes down to serious things like picking people to be intimate with, I'm not like that. And so I needed this like crazy, scary Craigslist hookup.
But it wasn't Craigslist.
It was not similar. Craigslist, I will say. Right. Speaking of, I didn't want to get an app now because I feel like I don't have time to date. Like, truly, between all the days I have with my kids and then when I don't, I have upcoming trips. I have like just stuff coming up that I'm like, I literally think I have 3 potential dates I am available in the next couple months. So I kind of wish I could just go on Craigslist. I wish it was still a thing. And I could say January 17th, March 3rd, whatever, if you're available, these are the dates. Like, let's just book it and do it.
It's like a pina colada song. When I met the open marriage guy in the bar, we only made out, and that was like such a jump for me because even flirting was like too much. Because my best friend was like, you need to be open. Like, you're giving him, you know, like these vibes of like ward off. And I was like, okay, well, how do I be open? Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And we made out in the bar, and he was like, on our way home, kind of a drive, and we're like, we could drive you home. And he was like texting his wife in the car, and he's like, my wife wants to meet you guys. And I was like, this is nuts. What fucking reality did I just walk into? So, but I think he really wanted to see me again because that was the dynamic within their marriage. And I think it was like alluring that he met me in the wild and he's not like scraping bottom of the barrel with apps. Cause there's like kind of sexual openness apps like Field, FEELD. And that's like the app they were on for like finding
their marriage. Unicorn.
Yeah.
Dun,
Situation. And, so he wanted to see me again, and I think he wanted me to trust that this was, you know, he wasn't being like a shady motherfucker, and like he wasn't really in an open marriage or whatever. And so I was like, I guess we'll meet your wife. What the fuck? Like, I just made out with you at the bar, and I'm driving you home, and we're meeting your wife. Like, this is nuts. And she walks out with like their corgi under her arm and like her clear retainers in, and she's like, "Hey, girls!" Like, and I'm like, is your robe Skims?
You didn't know what to say.
It was so crazy. And we went in for like, they offered us like a glass of wine. Beck and I just had water. I was like, she was like, do you want to stay? I'm like, no. She's like, I've got to get home. I have a wedding tomorrow because we're both photographers. I'm like, I'm not staying with these people. I just met these people. Like, who the fuck do you think?
I'm just envisioning if my husband ever showed up at my door with a woman he met at a bar. I'd knock her the fuck out. But I know they're in an open marriage because that's not how the it dynamic went.
Like, it's
just crazy to me to think, wow.
Because she was so busy doing her own thing. So it was like, there was an imbalance of her kind of having her pick of the litter on these apps and him not. And so she kind of like owed him this openness with me. And again, I would just like not recommend open marriage stuff. Like, that's not my vibe. But I only saw him 3 more times after that over 3 months. So it wasn't this like super consistent thing. But the beauty of the situation for me is it allowed my mind to focus on something else and something positive that was like a dopamine hit of like getting, you know, we DM'd on Instagram and stuff, and just flirting and getting your mind to go somewhere else other than like the pain and trauma of your divorce is really important in the beginning, because you just need something positive to focus on when everything is like just going to shit.
100%. And also, like, I was dealing with like stonewalling toward the end, and just, I mean, well, we were reconciling and stuff. It felt like we were trying to keep the family together, but it was for the kids. In terms of like us in our relationship, he didn't look at me, he didn't speak to me, and I was kind of like, what am I doing here? And so I was really craving that connection. Once he moved out, I was like, okay, I'm ready for attention and just being able to flirt and like talk to someone. And it was a huge distraction, which is what I needed, because you'll go nuts if you don't distract yourself with sexting and self-care things and all the other things we talk about. Today, we're just going to talk about dating. So obviously the recipe is all of the other things too. But for today's purposes,
it's a good distraction, but it's also important to not let it like flood your focus, because I definitely would get in periods of that, because it was the shiny thing that was distracting me to the point of like avoiding the other pain and trauma going on. So there is like a healthy balance you need to find, and like be able to catch yourself.
You don't want to mask your pain either. And I think that's why I was also so resistant, and I still am now, where I don't want to date or jump into a relationship, because I do still feel like I have a lot of parts to heal on my own, and like I don't want to lose focus of myself if I jump and like bury myself into a real relationship.
After I got off or I broke up with the
Mr. Wrong.
Mr. Wrong, we call him, the guy on Are We Dating the Same Guy, Chicago. Like 2 weeks later, I flew out to Colorado for my best friend was getting married at first sight. For Lifetime, literally the show. If you go on Denver season 17, the girl with the pink hair is Becca, my best friend. And someday we should have her on the podcast because she is a first wife. Like, and she could share about her.
How long did her marriage last?
It took her longer to get divorced than me.
Oh,
yeah, it was a nightmare.
What?
I think they were. God, the experiment's like 4 months long.
Okay.
And then they call it quits at the end. But all that to say, I was like, I need a safe hookup. I always wanted a wedding weekend hookup. And her best guy friend in Denver, I'd always heard amazing things about, but I had never met him. And he had just gotten off a breakup a couple months prior to. And she's like, I'm going to set you guys up, but like, you cannot fall in love. Both of you need to be single more than anyone I know. And then we had like an amazing weekend of getting like 3 hours of sleep a night, like 2 nights in a row. And just like merged souls and connected on such a deep level that it was like hard to like, and I felt so safe. That was the one thing that I've never felt with any man. And I think it was because I had Becca like vouching for him.
Right.
Yeah. And like he just had done beautiful things. Like when she had surgery out in Arizona, he like flew out just to help her fly back, and like all these gentlemen chivalrous
I can't
things. Say it. I can't do it. That was just like green flags. And long story short, we kind of had this like really romantic start to the relationship of like, I feel like I want to keep the door open, and like I can tell we both have a lot of depth that like in that we were an amazing writer. Like, what if we write love letters to each other? Or like, what if we write love letters to each other for the first couple like weeks or whatever, and just kind
Which
of.
I loved when you told me that. Like, I just feel like it's like Oregon Trail times, and it is romantic. There's something about handwritten notes.
Yeah, it was so exciting to like wait for the letter and know it was coming, and like
for the mule to come down your street with the scroll on its back.
Now that I think about it, it's kind of crazy that we did that. And I suggested
beautiful.
it, and he was so like grateful that the door was just still open and that I wanted to keep the connection going, and like, but also not rush it or think that, you know.
Do you feel like it also felt safe knowing like you weren't ready totally for like a real relationship, but like there was distance? He was like states away. So it's like,
yes.
Oh, we could like.
Yes. And we really built this beautiful long distance relationship over a year and a half almost we had, where he was so good about coming out to travel to see me, and he was just like a man of his word and very consistent. It healed my anxious attachment, and we really built, and he was anxiously attached, I think, too, to his previous acts, where we built this like secure connection to each other that was very healing. And it was like an amazing amount of trust and good communication and consistency of like checking in, but not being like overly obsessive about what we're doing, you know, in our day to day. We had such individual paths that we were on that we really like respected and honored for each other to pursue. And so all that to say that like you really learn, or you really heal yourself in safe love and safe connection, and all these experiences kind of like heal these wounds that for me, my biggest wound was I'm not worthy of healthy love. Like there's something wrong with me that I can't receive this. Like it's a part of me, you know? And I would say like being codependent before was that part, but with a reliable, healthy, safe partner, I can let go of that codependent part because she's not activated, because he's just safe and consistent and trustworthy. There's nothing to be activated about. And so it's very freeing to find a partner worthy to like heal with, because your heart can be safe in the right hands. And that was like something I really needed to feel. And then he moved out here, and like the more time we spent together though, I realized there was an incompatibility just with our personalities. And it just wasn't going to work. It wasn't like going to fulfill my vision for this like dynamic with my boys, because he wasn't really that familiar with kids. He was 4 years younger than me, and there was just like things that it was like a disruptor to my flow in a lot of ways with how his personality was. But I think he is the only time I've ever actually been in love, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because I think like to be in love, you have to feel safe with that person first and foremost. You can't be in love if you're not safe. That's not love. Like that's like a trauma bond and attachment. And then I was inspired by him too. And like, I haven't felt that with anyone else. So it just makes me excited if I can feel that strongly about someone that isn't the right one for me. Like when I do find everything I'm looking for, I can't wait to like get marriage right again. But it was like, yeah, he was such a huge step to feel that. Like now my brain and my heart knows that I can do healthy love.
Of that.
Yeah. So have you found love since?
Oh, stop it. Oh my God. I'm like the biggest love hater right now. No, I'm kidding. I don't want to have negative perceptions of relationships, but I do. It's just where I'm at right now. In my beginning stages, after my website hookups, I went into one night stand city for like a little bit. And that was like fun. And then I had a little situationship for 3 months. That was cool. But again, this is like within the first 6 months of filing. I was all over the place, but it was a lot of fun. Then I morphed into, my friend was like, you should really take so-and-so up on the date proposal. He really wants to take you out. He really likes you, yada, yada. And I had met him through her 12 or 13 years ago in college. And I was like, no, I don't. It's something about also not wanting to mix and mingle with mutual friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though Becca connected you guys and that's fine. Like, I was like, I don't know, what if something like goes wrong, whatever. And I just was like, I'm not interested. But she kept pushing for it. And then he was texting me, whatever. And I was going through my divorce. And I was like, you know what? He, again, is like felt like a safe person. He's genuine. He's kind. He's successful. He's motivated. And was just so chivalrous and nice and like all the things. And so I finally went on a date with him and was totally surprised by how like, I don't know, the chemistry was like, wow. So that turned into a 15-month situationship that just ended. And I didn't call it a situationship the whole time. It was just a friends with benefits. I didn't really tell anybody about it. Like, I told you girls about it because you guys are on the outskirts of my life. But like in my daily life, my friends and family, I didn't want people, I have this fear of like things not working out or being rejected. And then people are like, how's it going with so-and-so? And then I could be like, oh no, we're not dating. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, until I'm really dating someone who is a candidate that I'd want to tell people about and whatever, like, I just say like, oh yeah, I'm like not really dating, kind of dating, sleeping around. Like, I don't even know how to answer the question, honestly, when people ask me, because I usually say, like, no, I'm not dating. And then they're like, oh, like they feel bad for me. And I'm like, okay, don't feel bad for me. Like, it's there if I want it, but I'm just whatever. Anyways, now that ended, I realized it was a situationship, and we blurred the lines of friends with benefits. Like, it was supposed to be like meet up, sex, and then you leave. And I told him that, and he was like, oh, but we're so good at like playing house and like, and then he threw out I love you a couple times, and I didn't reply because I feel a little empty inside, and I didn't know how to reply to that. And I was like, I don't know if I loved him. I wasn't like in that mindset. I was in the mindset of like, this feels really nice to be in your presence. Like, he was so gentle. Like, this, how I realized my love language is touch. Like, I feel like he was always just like touching me like in kind, sweet ways. We sat next to each other at restaurants. Like, how cute. So anyways, whatever. We haven't seen each other in 3 months. We just got lunch 2 weeks ago though. And it was so friendly. Friendliest lunch I've ever been on. I was like, wow, this is just my friend. So now I'm back to the drawing board, and I'm so excited to be. And we just completed your Hinge like 35 minutes ago now.
We picked your hot pictures. We did the prompts. You're already like getting the sea of likes.
So, but now I feel like I'm in the phase of like, you know what? I could do a little boyfriend.
Yeah.
I think you're good at it.
I think you're ready to just like get to that next phase.
Yeah. And I think this situationship absolutely got me through my divorce because like I just finalized, 8 months ago. And I feel like he had so much like care and like concern for me and like really like took care of me. I can't explain it. Like when I didn't have my kids and I'd go to his place to hang out, it was just like clean and relaxing and like good energy. And like we both like to like tell stupid jokes, dark humor, all the things. So that was like really nice and what I needed. And now I feel like I've outgrown that. Like I'm ready for the next
thing. I think it's really important to have space in between all of the people you date because it gives your body and mind like a chance to reset, recalibrate, also like take inventory of what did work, what didn't work in that relationship. Like you have to give yourself that breather. After my 2-year relationship, I took like 2 months off and just like, I feel like I move very fast with how I process things. Like my friends call it Lindsay time, where it's like kind of a hyper speed. And so I can like process and heal quickly and integrate the lessons. And so I took 2 months off and then I went back on the apps for like my second time. And this time I was like, I want to date someone with kids.
You were like, I want a dad.
Yes. Because with my long distance relationship, that was one of I felt like I had 2 lives. I had this beautiful relationship with him, but it didn't feel integrated with my relationship with the boys. Like he never met them. He would have met them. He was ready to. But they struggled so much with the divorce that they weren't ready to like accept someone new. And so I just kept things separate out of respect for them. And in hindsight, I'm glad that I didn't force that because it wasn't going to go well either way. And I wasn't sure that he was the one for me to put them through this because this was the direction I was going. And there was just no doubt in my mind. There was doubt in my mind. I didn't know if we were going to go the distance because of our incompatibilities. I think we loved each other how we wanted, but were we actually like a day-to-day match was what I needed like more data on. And so when I got on the apps again, I was like, I want to date someone with kids because I want to feel that integration of motherhood and dating. And what better way to do that than with someone with kids? But this guy that I found, again, we like had a really quick connection and quick banter. Like I definitely attached too quickly and get excited.
First week, like, and then
there were all these like kismet like signs too.
We have to make sure that people know. Just because I just want to say men are charming.
Yeah.
Every man that I do connect with makes me feel like, oh my gosh, they give you that rush.
They really know how to put their best foot forward. That isn't really sustainable to like keep you at that, where I felt like I put who I was at the beginning. That's who I am. Like
you are always Lindsay. You are clear.
Yeah. Like there's no smoke and mirrors to who I am. But there was with him. And, I mean, he was forthright about his situation. They were in the thick of the divorce. Like they were selling their house. He was living in the guest room. Like, they had a good co-parenting dynamic and stuff, which was expansive for me to see like them prioritize the kids over their issues. Cause that's something my ex and I couldn't do. There was like always so much tension. And so I like paid attention too much to the green flags, which was like that he was a dad, that he was really like kind of like supportive and involved almost with my motherhood journey. Like I could talk to him a lot about my kids. We shared stories about our kids that it felt like we knew each other's kids before we even met them, type of thing. But he jumped too quickly from his divorce into this relationship with me. He had no healing time to process the lessons he needed to with this marriage.
So what would you advise people who meet men that are still living with their, like they are getting divorced, but they're still living in the marital home with the ex? Do you recommend dating someone that's still living with the ex?
I wanted to try it because people dated me while I was still going through. Now while I was in the same house.
I'm talking about living together still.
Well, I guess I was doing the situationship with the open marriage guy, but we weren't seeing each other regularly.
Yeah, but he was in an open marriage. That's different. Yeah, I'm talking like about dating. People.
Yeah.
Because this comes up a lot in my dating group. People will be like, they just filed, he's still living at home. Like, is this... What do you think?
My advice would be expect chaos. Like, it's not going to be smooth sailing. And if you're okay with that, if you can ride the rocky waters, it's not going to be this like jet set into like happily ever after, because there's so many sticky parts.
And that's my perspective. Like, I feel like I've done so much work on myself since my divorce and my ex moving out 2 years ago, and I've made so much progress that if I don't want to deal with anybody else's messy situation, like if they're like right in the thick, especially if they're living together. Here's a small
example of how it gets sticky. They actually ended up buying houses like around the corner from each other, which I was supportive of, because I'm like, this is a good thing for the kids, right? But the kids wanted to be able to go back and forth easily. Like, oh, I forgot my blah, blah, blah there. I got my bikes at dad's or whatever. But they had finally moved out into separate houses, so now I could finally go visit him at his place rather than him always coming to my house. And the kids are on a different timeline than the parents, because the parents know well before the kids that this is over, we're getting a divorce, and they kind of like wait to tell the kids till they're ready. So the kids are on a different timeline about when it's acceptable to know mom and dad are dating someone else. And so that's when things got hairy, where like, and it causes stress of like, they're not ready to see the parents in a different way. And like,
were you there when they showed up one day?
I didn't.
Or did something happen?
Yeah, one time but I was able to like go in a room, and he was just, the one son was there to just like grab his like eye touch or something, and the dad just like, you know, he gave it to him and just was like, text me if you're going to come by, you know, next time or whatever. But that just causes stress for the kids, because it's like, well, why can't I just stop by? And like, that makes me sad. Cause like, it's just not fair to them. They're the sacrificial lambs in the process. And, you know, our ability to move on faster because we're ready just to like have a new life of dating and seeing what else is out there and kind of distracting ourselves as we're like getting out of a marriage. The kids aren't ready to like receive that version of us. And so you kind of have to like,
I mean, I am so hesitant. I don't want to introduce anyone to my kids unless I think they may be the one or something. And that seems so far away. And you've never introduced anyone, right?
No, my last guy met my kids pretty early on, and I honestly don't have regrets about it, because...
Oh, he was the only one, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's not like you've introduced 10 people, so only one. Okay.
Well, what I did was, when I broke up with my 2-year relationship, I told the kids, because I wanted... I don't know. I don't want to have all these lies between us that they're writing all these stories about who I am and what my dating life like. Because they would say things like, you have 12 boyfriends. I'm like, where are you getting this information?
I fucking wish. Yeah.
I'm like, why? Who would have time for 12 boyfriends? Like, and so I was just like, you know, I broke up with him, and I just want you guys to know that, you know, when I do choose to date again, I want to be more transparent about it, so that you don't feel like there's a side of me you don't know, and that is causing you anxiety, or, you know, you're able to write your own stories about me. So once I met this dad I was dating, I told the kids, like, you know, I met someone, he has 3 kids, these are his ages.
Sorry, I want to laugh, because I'm like, we had Mr. Wrong.
Yeah.
Oregon Trail love letter, and now we have dad.
Yeah, dad. Okay. And they were kind of like, well, I was like, I just want one life, and so I'm going to be transparent that I'm dating him, and I think you'll probably meet him sooner because he's a dad, and it'll be more comfortable. Like, he was an English teacher in high school before he switched to like medical sales, so he was like well versed with kids and older kids, that I didn't have that anxiety that I had about Oregon Trail man, mm-hmm. that like he wasn't going to be a good fit for my boys, personality wise. And so my ex later like threw it in my face, was like, why are you telling the boys like details about your dating life? Like, they don't need to hear. I'm like, first of all,
stop being obsessed with me.
First of all, like, you don't understand me and why I would need to say these things, and what kind of dynamic you have harmed, you know, between.
But you're so open and clear and communicative with everybody, and it's important that you would do that with your own kids and make them feel safe in their home.
Yes, transparency is like a cornerstone of my personality at this point, and especially after getting divorced, like, and being a not transparent, not authentic version of myself for so long, like, I just want to be seen for me, and I'm not going to share a bunch of details with them. I'm just going to say, hey, I'm dating someone, and you'll probably meet him sooner than later. And that was it. And I'm like, if you have any questions, let me know. And they're like, okay. Like, they weren't bothered by it at all. So then when I broke up with him, I let them know too, because I don't want them to think I'm like, you know, what if 3 months go by and they still think I'm dating him, but this whole time I've been healing and now I have another boyfriend. They're like, oh, you're just hopping boyfriends? It's like,
and they're
no.
11 and 15.
Yeah.
They can understand what's going on, and you know.
Yeah. Yeah. This is basic. I'm giving them like the spark notes of just like the skim of the surface of details. Like, they can handle what I'm sharing with them, and I want them to know me rather than all these lies and ideas that they've been fed about me, making up their own idea, you know, about who I am and my dating life. So, and I don't need my ex to understand, you know, why I do the things that I do, and like,
and we just don't care.
Yeah, and
it's like,
it's just, I have authority as well with our children and what I think they should know emotionally about me, and, you know, just buzz off, essentially. So, but long story short about Dad, it's the, you know, the curtain was lifted, spiral.
they say 3
crash
months,
out.
the mask kind of comes off.
And that's exactly what it was. Crash out hard, like
semi-stalking.
yeah. I just, it's,
He really
thank
liked
God.
you.
Yeah, thank God but let's talk about the good things that came from it, which is I know what I'm looking for way more because I've found things that I'm not looking for. And I want someone that's intrinsically motivated, that actions match words, and is like disciplined and doesn't wait for like criticism or like, you know, feedback to want to make changes about their life. They just have this vision and they want to do it because that's who they want to be. Mm-hmm. And we're like on parallel lines, like growing together, not him behind me and I'm like dragging him along. Like that was the dynamic.
Well, and you did that in your marriage.
Yeah. I'm not doing it again. I'm not raising a man.
No.
You know, I can help heal a broken heart, but I'm not going to raise a man.
Yeah. I feel like he was still just too fresh in his, you know, state. And you are so far along in your healing. It's just.
Yeah. But it's been 4 months. It was only 4 months where I'm like, I didn't waste a ton of time.
No. And you learn everything.
Yes.
You learn things from every experience. So
no mistakes, only lessons.
Like you've had so many little relationships where you're learning things along the way. I've had none. So now I'm like, I've learned nothing.
Well, that's why you're getting on the apps.
I know, exactly.
That's why you're rocking and rolling.
I've learned a lot about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it'll be good.
But then I took 4 months off after that breakup. Like I dated him late spring, summer, early fall, 4 months. And then I was like, I'm going to close up shop. I need to go into a deep healing cocoon void period where I'm just focusing on myself. And it was amazing. And then start the new year, I got on the apps and had a date last night. So
I know you were like, oh, I was chatting with this guy, and then hours later I woke up this morning to text. I was like, I went on a date. I'm like, oh, that escalated.
Yeah, I'm in my data collection phase, and there's so many, like, I think dating with intention is really important, and I don't think you can date with intention when you're starting out fresh out of your divorce, because your intention is to just fucking
exist.
Yeah, just survive, have, distraction. But now it's been 3.5 years since I left. I have a very clear vision of what I'm looking for. And so, which wouldn't have been possible from all the, mistakes leading up to this. If I didn't, put myself out there in those dating relationships. And now I'm in a phase where I've learned something about myself that I can jump to fantasy world really quickly with a guy. And so, and I can, fill in the gaps with a beautiful picture because I see the best in people and I'm very optimistic. But the opposite of fantasy is like presence, and you're anticipating what people are showing you and you're data collecting off of that, and you're not future forecasting. And so what I want to do right now is go on a lot of first dates and slowly date these people kind of all at once, but without sleeping, with everyone at all, and just kind of have this kind of like bachelorette experience in my mind of like seeing what I like and letting people like naturally go on second dates, third dates, and like, who's gonna woo me? Who's gonna plan something that makes me feel like cared for and like pursued, and like show me how good it can get, universe. Like that's where I'm at with dating right now.
So I think to summarize, phase 1 dating is at the very beginning. You just filed. You just want to have fun. And I do believe you have to get under someone to get over someone. That was it for me. I felt like that string was snipped the first time I was riding someone. I was like, okay, here we go.
Oh my God.
But then phase 2 is like maybe during the divorce process, if it could be long. My divorce took about 20 months, which is a really long time. So I didn't want, there was so much change happening and shifts and like court dates, and then I didn't know if I was going to stay in my house, and there was just so many unknowns that I was like, I can't pour into somebody else right now.
Yeah.
And so that's where maybe you have these like mini relationships, micro relationships, hookups, whatever. That's fun too. But I feel like phase 3 now, I'm finally ready to where my divorce is over. There's just like radio silence there, which is really nice. We have our schedule that we both honor really well. And then like work is good. I feel financially stable. Like I feel like my life is like right here for the first time in a really long time, because it was like up here and down here and up and all over. And so now that I feel like everything's right here, I can date.
Well, I feel like that tells me you have like breathing room to give energy to someone else or build a new connection or share more of yourself because you're in a more regulated state.
That's a good word, regulated. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I told situationship at the beginning, like, because he was like, why are you so resistant to dating? And I was like, I just don't have what it takes to like give a man right now or like pour into somebody else. Like I don't think I'd be like a fair partner to somebody right now, because I'm like battling so many demons of my own and my divorce and whatever, that it's like, you deserve someone that would whatever. And then I went and did wifey shit for him.
What? No mistakes, only lessons. We're just collecting data.
Gosh,
we're not going to get it wrong the second time.
And I don't regret the situationship. It was like,
it kept you comforted.
It. Yes. No, he's great. He's a good guy.
Yeah, and I don't care if I make more mistakes. I have more lessons of situationships or mini relationships, because I trust myself that when I get remarried again, because I know that I will, I don't care if it takes 10 years, it's going to be everything I've wanted and more in my whole life. Like, it's the deepest desire of my life to have a fulfilling marriage that inspires my boys to be good partners someday, that, you know, it just is like a shining example of what true love is. Like, I want to be that in the world. Like, I'm a wedding photographer. I've seen couples that make me feel that way about them, you know, and I want to be one of those couples, and it's going to take time to find that, but I know that I'm going to. And so we get to set the standard for our life and what we're looking for, and we just have to make a commitment to just not settle until we find it, and be okay with the present moment of, you know, building a fruitful life filled with girl time and being a mom and caring for ourselves until the right people come along.
And I need to be more like you, because I feel like you date to collect experiences and to put yourself out there and do all the things with no expectations, no fears, all that. Whereas I don't date because I have this fear of like, oh, what if it doesn't work out? And I just like wasted my time. I've been vulnerable. Like, I'm like so afraid of the like rejection or like things not working out. But like, why do I care?
Yeah.
Like, I could date somebody for a month and whatever, and 3 months, like, who cares? Yeah. I feel like I can't take more like heartbreak right now. But I actually think I can. This heart is repaired.
Well, it's just rejection is just redirection.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out with this person that you're talking to, it's just because that door's closing so a better one can open.
Well, I'm like, and that's dating. I can't just date the person that might be my next husband. Like, that's not how it works. But I'm so...
This is fun.
What's wrong with me?
It's
like,
fun to date.
We're non-mentality or something.
I mean, I know that there's so many more eligible women than eligible men out there, and it feels like, you know, looking for a needle in a haystack, but again, even if it's not the right guy, you're collecting experiences that tell you like what you're really looking for. Like, okay, for example, Oregon Trail lover man was really type A. And I thought I wanted someone that, oh my God, I need someone that's super type B, because dad dater was extremely type B, where I was just like, this is chaotic, this is messy, and so I need someone, and that's how I am, is I'm in the middle. Like, I need someone like that. Without those two experiences that were polar opposites, I wouldn't know that this is actually what I need for like a sustainable partnership.
No, I need those experiences.
Yeah.
And my therapist is like, your bar is down here.
Yeah.
For some reason. And I am totally guilty of wearing the rose-colored glasses and fantasizing, and that's how I lasted so long with my husband, because
live in reality and use these opportunities as
you get closer and closer to what you want. Like, you just get so much more clear to what you want and need in life by experiences. So I need to start having those and not my 2023 website hookups.
Yeah. So in short, we're both single and on the apps and dating.
Phase 3.
Yeah. So these dating episodes will just be this ongoing series of how we're navigating.
Yeah, and then we'll have Oregon Trail, Dad. No, we'll start numbering them maybe 1 through 6.
It's going to be a journey, and I'm excited. I've never been more excited about dating right now. So don't be scared to date. Get out there. It's all just data. So on that note.
All right. Happy dating.
Happy dating.